Imagine for a moment you're a passenger on a beautiful sailboat that's run by an expert crew. And so the sailboat is sailing along, and it's sailing along up here. And suddenly there's a whole bunch of kelp, and the wind just vanishes. So there's no wind, and there's a lot of kelp and other debris in the water. And so all of a sudden the sailboat starts floundering in this direction here. And as it flounders in this direction here, it keeps bumping up against a sandbar. And kind of, it doesn't take forever, but it takes long enough. And remember, these are weekly bars, so it's going to be quite a bit of time in the market. And it keeps on bouncing the sandbar. And you can look down and you can see the sandbar. Sandbar is real obvious. And you can see the kelp. So you can't turn on the engine because you get the kelp all messed up in the boat and just all kinds of bad things happen. And there's not much you can do because there's really not much wind. And so you kind of need to hang out there until you're out of the kelp and you're away from the sandbar. Now, so this is what happens. And so you're going down here and you're in the kelp and you're in the sandbar area and they're bouncing off the sandbars, and all of a sudden you come over here and boom, you're suddenly free of the kelp. You can see it, you can recognize it, it's easy to see, easy to understand. You crank on the engine and boom, you're out of there for a nice ride. And guess what? The whole thing happens again. Well, this is the Australian dollar, so what do you want? Things like that happen in the Australian area. Otherwise, it's a beautiful place. Now, sandbars come in all different kinds of sizes, and some of them are weekly, and some of them are daily, and some of them are 60-minute. Okay? And so what happens is the wind goes this way, and it makes you drift up here, and there's just lots and lots of kelp in this area here, so you don't really want to do anything. Don't want to put your situation at risk. But all of a sudden, boom, you see clear as a bell that you're just bouncing off the sandbar, and you see that you're out of the kelp very clearly. Boom. Take a nice ride. Okay? Same thing happens here. You go up here, and gee whiz, there's a bunch of sandbars. Just keep bouncing, hitting that sandbar. You know, you can see it clear as day, but you're not damaging the boat because you're avoiding it, avoiding getting stuck in it, and and you hit it, and once you get the signal that you're out of the kelp, wham! What a nice little ride. Okay, same kind of thing happens here, and here, and here. And yesterday it happened up here, and I put out a little video and showed and some charts. So out of the kelp, and since the sandbar understanding the sandbars and kelp is a technology unto itself, you're in a situation where you know where the kelp is. Kelp is behind you. You're in nice clear water. How far is it going to go? Okay. So you set aside the sandbar technique. That's only really for finding out when you're out of the kelp and when you really want to crank on that engine and go. Right? Okay. So what you do then, very straightforward. You do your further analysis with your standard navigation techniques, right? Which might include looking at the pattern in here, and you say, wow, this looks like a not pattern, and so that would suggest that it's not only down here, but down quite a ways. And if you draw your navigation technique from Sir Isaac, you'd find that this is the area here where the target is. So the next place that you'll probably be sailing to, and until you probably run out of wind, is probably going to be down here. Okay. Now, the nice thing about this target area here is that since it's one of Sir Isaac's, you know that if the wind suddenly does shift here and takes you the other way, then that's a reversal. But that's not the only possible target. There is one more other possible target area where a shift in wind and a reversal the other way is likely, and that's down here. And the time period, woof, well, that's between now and well, it could be as early as August, okay, or maybe a little later, but could be as early as August. It would take some time. So that's what we have right now. This is how the sandbar thing works. And so each of these times here, prices are just, hitting a sandbar, hitting a sandbar. And when you have something like that, you want something clear and simple so you can see what the heck is going on. Nothing complicated, just clear, simple, boom, this is it. And boom, you want something very distinctive, very clear, that tells you, boom, you're out of the kelp. Boom. Same thing here. You want real high probability, you're out of kelp. Boom. Now, is it perfect and that it goes just to wonderful moves every time? No. Sometimes, like here, you had a short move, and then sure enough, the wind dies down again, and another sandbar bouncing up against the sandbars, and you see, oh my gosh, wind's pushing me up a little bit this way, but bouncing against a sandbar. There's this huge sandbar underneath here, so I've got to go the other way, but I've got the kelp, so I can't turn the engine on. So all of a sudden start drifting, the wind starts picking up, boom, you're out of the kelp, turn on that engine, and away you go. Okay? Same kind of thing here. So, that's what the sandbar technique is. Something simple, straightforward, that you can easily identify, that has some really decent probability. Doesn't get you in all the tops, all the bottoms. Nope. But definitely helps you stay in situations where the wind is and where you're free of kelp. Have a good day. See you next time.